Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Lisa, Best Life Lee. And this week I'm doing a bonus video. I have the great privilege and honor to be included in a wonderful tag video put together by the two orchids, Karen and Lauren, along with another wonderful group of women that I have been able to get to know through Karen and the two orchids. And we are going to be doing a video about empowering women, helping women find their bliss. And I think this is such a great and wonderful idea. So whether you're just starting out, smack dab in the middle of your life, or in your 80s and you want to start something new, I hope that you will watch this video. I hope that you will get inspired. What we're going to do is we have 5 sort of questions that we're all going to answer. We're going to tell our stories of our journeys. I'm going to tell my story of the last 60 years of my journey. The journey is far from over. So grab a cup of tea, have a seat, and just get comfortable. And let's just talk about finding our bliss. So you may wonder, who am I to empower other women to find their bliss or live their dreams? I'm just like you. I grew up with hopes and dreams. I ventured into life, got a job, had a family, raised children, ended up in a career, and in between all of that, I was still trying to pursue my dreams. And when we talk about our dreams, what does that mean? Do we dream of owning a house somewhere in some exotic place where every morning you look out at the ocean and every night you watch the sunset while you wear the perfect clothes, have the perfect mate, and life is grand? Well, yeah, if that's your dream, then there's a reason that you have that dream. Obviously, we all love beauty. We all love to be able to have our dream home, our dream landscape, and everything that is beautiful in life. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's your dream. When you have ideas that come to mind, such as, boy, I've always had a novel in my head. I wish I should write that book. Or you have a particular job and you run into things all the time and they're amazing or they're so unbelievable, you say, I should write a book. I don't know how many people I've run into over the years and they've said that. Or they've said, I've been talking about a story and they said, you should write a book. I have always loved to write. As a little girl, I would write stories. As a teenager, in my teenage angst years, I wrote poetry. And then when I was in my 30s, I wanted to write my novel. I always had a novel in my head. I grew up in New Bedford, which is a whaling city. It was the capital of whaling back in the mid 1800s, and I am not I love whales, and I'm not an advocate of whale hunting by any means, but it was what was going on at the time. It was what gave the country light. The candles were made from whale oil and whale blubber, and there was a lot of things that kept the society going and growing that came from whales. So while I don't advocate whale hunting by any stretch of the imagination, I had an idea of what it would have been like to live in that time in my city with the cobblestone streets that are still there to this day, and the widows' walks that are on the houses out there in the city that wives used to go out and look for their husbands' ships in the hopes that they were coming back. So I was busy in my life at that time. I was raising 2 young children. I had a full-time job. I had a very busy job. And I always wanted, that was where things were going on in my head, my characters. And I started out just doing some research and finding out more and more about that time in my city's history. And I just started to write. And every day when I would have time, I would sit down at the computer and just let my thoughts go and, you know, be inspired to create. And so it took about 10 years, but I did finish the novel. And I tried to send out queries, and I did, you know, I tried, and I would get my rejection letters over and over and over again. And, you know, I could have probably done a lot more running around trying to get local people to take an interest in my book, but I didn't, and I ultimately self-published the book. It cost me probably about $1,800 or more to get that book published, but you know what? I got a copyright. I actually went through the motions of getting an actual copyright of my book. And I sold copies to friends and acquaintances and got a lot of great feedback on my book. The point is that my soul was calling to me to be the writer that I am, that makes me, that feeds my soul, that makes me happy. And I did it, and I've written many, many things over the years for myself, mostly because I am not a published author in the sense of, you know, being on the bestseller list. But the point is that if you are being nudged by your soul to do something, whether it's artistic or it's you have a beautiful singing voice, but you don't show that to anybody because you don't know if anybody will like it or if you're really that good. If you love to sing, it's because your soul wants to sing. So sing in the car, sing in the shower. You know, even if you say, oh my gosh, I wish I could sing, I just have a terrible voice, but you love to sing, then that's what your soul is nudging you to do. If you dream of being in a place that's warm all the time and sunshine, then your soul is calling you to that location. Just because we're in a certain place doesn't mean that's where we're meant to stay. It's a starting point. It's a jumping off point. So the way to live your dreams and find your bliss is to listen to your soul's calling. You know, you wouldn't be thinking about having your own cooking show if it wasn't something your soul wanted to do. If you feel as though you want your own cooking show, start a YouTube channel and start cooking, because someone is going to want or need what you have to offer. And there is no limit to how many people can be on YouTube and how many people can share and get subscribers. It's endless. It's endless. And there's a multitude of people who are out there that, you know, we can all encourage and bless each other to have the most abundance and the most success. Because just because someone gets very, very successful doesn't mean that they're taking it away from anyone else. It's there for all of us. It's like never ending. So never think if someone is successful and you think, I will never be as successful as that person. Turn that around. Those are the thoughts that block us from having that success in life, because, you know, we have a dream, we have a thought that our soul says, hey, you can do this. Look at this. This would make you happy. And then we turn it around and we say, well, you know, maybe that person can do it and that person can be successful, but I can't. And then you're blocked and you will just go on to something else. But remember that when you have a thought, if you are happy about that thought, you create a mold for the universe to fill with everything that's going to bring you to that dream. Think about what you see in the future and let the universe figure out how to get you there. And don't come up with other thoughts to block that process. Because if you do, then that's the next mold that you've created, and so on and so on and so on. And the point is, you're going to be creating today with your thoughts the life you're going to be living in the future. So don't get discouraged if you say, okay, universe, here's my thoughts, and you find in a couple of weeks or a month that's not happening, and then you start with your negative thoughts and you block it from happening. As far as for me, with my book and really wanting to get it published the normal way, the traditional way, I know that if I truly put that out to the universe, it would happen. And who knows what kind of thoughts that I've created to block that. Did I say, oh, well, if I really published my book and I got a book tour, how would I ever leave and go on a book tour? And who would take care of my animals? And how could I leave my family or my husband? So those are the kind of thoughts that were keeping me back. So I have work to do. I have work to do if I want to go in that direction and really think about what it is that I truly want and what my dreams are. But the bottom line is, I'm still writing. I'm writing today. I'm doing YouTube videos because it's what I want to do. It's a dream. It's fun, and it's been an avenue to meet some wonderful, wonderful people. And I'm going to keep it going, and I'm writing, and I write a blog. And even if no one ever sees my blog and no one ever reads my posts, I'm still putting that out into the ethers. I am still doing my soul work, and it's not work, it's what makes me happy. I sit at the computer at 8 o'clock at night thinking that I'm just going to write a few lines, and the next thing I know, it's 11:30, and I think, oh my goodness, I have to go to bed now. And when that happens to you, okay, I'm doing something I love. I'm enjoying this. I'm in joy, and that's what it's all about. So I have a couple of books that I want to share with you that I really think are so inspiring and so helpful in helping us, in allowing us to be able to see things in a different way and recognize that we are so much more than we ever allow ourselves to be a lot of the times. So the books that I'm going to share with you, two I've read, one I'm in the process of listening to in an audiobook, and it's phenomenal. I'll share a picture of the book here, but it's called Life on Earth by Mike Dooley, and it is just, he is coming from a more universal, spiritual place. It's not about any kind of religion or anything like that, but it is just such a great book to get you thinking larger than just what we know on an everyday basis, what we've been raised or reared to think that life is. And it's just a wonderful, great read. I'm enjoying it. There's some funny parts. I find myself smiling, laughing. I find myself saying, yes. So I hope that you will check out that book. The other book is a book by Sean Korn. I don't know if you know who Sean Korn is. If you are into yoga, if you've done yoga in your life, you probably know who Sean is. I don't remember when I first encountered her, but I did take a yoga workshop with her probably 15 years ago, maybe, in New York. She did a workshop and I went to her workshop and I learned the correct way to position my body when I'm doing certain moves in yoga, and she's really, really great. And I remember in the workshop at some point we were doing all of our yoga, and it's vinyasa yoga and it's a flow, and she called us all into the middle of the room and she just talked to us and we all asked questions, and it was really, really great. So I do yoga to her videos. I think she's really genuine, and she talks about her journey in life from her 20s to where she is now, and this is called The Revolution of the Soul. And if you have, at this time in the history of humankind and in the world, you know, there's a lot going on, and she really does talk about the ways that we can all make a difference in how humanity goes forward and does better in life and for each other. So there's some really great stories, and it gives you inspiration. She did not start out as a yoga guru in life, and she's also not a religious person, but she again is a very spiritual, very she acknowledges, she has a close relationship with the divine. It's really a good book, and I think that if you're looking for inspiration and you're looking for ways, maybe your soul is calling you to do some community work or work on a much bigger level, you will get something out of this book to help you on that journey. And the other book that I really loved, and I did read this book, and it's called It's Never Too Late by Kathy Lee Gifford. Whatever you think of Kathy Lee, and I love Kathy Lee, I love her spunk, I love her that she's outspoken, and I love that she sometimes gets herself into trouble because she's being real. And to me, if you are being real, yes, obviously we don't want to infringe on anyone else's peace. She has a close relationship with God and Jesus, and she talks about that in this book. And that's, even if you are not down that path of, following that kind of religious belief system, you have to understand that she's following her soul's calling. That's why she's enjoying her life, because she's following her soul's calling. And that's the message to leave with you all for finding your bliss, is getting in touch, knowing what you've always wanted, what your dreams have always been, and doing something to move you towards that dream. It doesn't have to be on the bestseller list. It doesn't have to be 32 million subscribers on your YouTube channel. It doesn't have to be a home on the Riviera with limousines. You don't have to be the next Kardashian. You just have to be you, and you just have to follow your dreams. And even if it means writing in your journal at night because there's no time for anything else, keep that journey going, because you are going to get to a place in your life at some point where you will have time. I'm going to be 60 years old next month, and I have gotten to that point in my life where my home is mine. I can decorate it any way I please. Been at the job now for 26 years. I won't say that I've mastered it, but I feel as though I've gotten to that point in my life where I feel pretty confident in my career. And I'm also looking at the next phase of my life now, which is retirement. So where am I going to retire? What do I want that life to look like? Do I want to be in the sunshine state and just enjoy different things? And, you know, so I am starting to do different things in my life, like this YouTube channel, which is only 2 years old. It's not even 2 years old. It'll be 2 years old in September. So it's still a growing, changing, evolving thing, but I am loving what I'm doing. As I said, it's just doing your soul's, following your soul's nudging and not stopping yourself with doubt and fear. So I hope that you will check out my blog. I'm going to link it below because I did write a post that pertains to what I'm talking about today. It's called Wear the Red Shoes, and I hope that you will check it out. So the 5 questions that we're all going to try to answer in our videos are, number 1, I had a dream. What was your dream when you were a teenager? And I had a dream that I would be singing in a band. I had a best girlfriend at the time, Pauline, and she and I loved to sing. We would sing constantly, and we would dream that we would go to California and become, you know, singers in a band, and that would be our life, and that was our dream. And we would call ourselves LP, like the album, because at the time that's all they were record albums. And so obviously I did not live out that dream, and I ended up taking that dream and moving it in the direction of writing. That was where I put my energy as far as following my artistic dream. The next question is, did you go to college? I did not go to college. I graduated high school, went right into the workforce, and 2 years after graduating, I landed in an insurance company in the mailroom and just kept learning and wanting to be, you know, I was hungry to learn. I wanted to learn everything I could. And over the years, I gradually found myself in a career where I am today. I've worked for 2 companies in my career, and I've been with this company that I'm with right now for 26 years, and I do love my career. I work out on the road, obviously been grounded during COVID, but I will get back out there. I love working with people and doing some kind of work that actually helps people get resolutions to their problems. So yeah, I mean, you know, did not going to college kind of hold me back? In the beginning of my career, I think it did. I continued to move up, but I could never get into some kind of a management position because I didn't have a college education. However, based on experience and tenacity, I now am in a management position. So it can happen for you. You don't, I know we're in a different time, but and college education is pretty important. So I know most of us do go to college these days. If you could do it all over, what would you do? You know, there's been a lot of stumbles along the way in this life. If you have a vision of what your life is going to be, it doesn't always work out that way. And you do things and things happen that when you look back, you might regret. But I wouldn't do it any other way, because all those stumbling blocks and all those hurdles and all of those missteps brought me to where I am today. And I truly believe that those things that happen are important to help us to become who we are meant to be. So no, I wouldn't do it any differently. I would just do it with more love for myself and go a little easier on myself as I was going through all of those things. And the last one is, this is a good one. Share the way you have your cake and eat it too. Having my cake is, you know, having, maintaining a good job, maintaining an income so that I can have a home and have the things that I want to have, in my life, and to provide for the people and the animals that I provide for. That's having my cake. Eating it too is living my dreams at the same time, doing things, writing, listening to my soul's call, and, doing this YouTube channel, and just allowing myself to really just go for it. And that is having my cake and eating it too. And there's no reason we can't have our cake and eat it too. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I could go on for days, but I won't. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope that you'll go and check out all the other wonderful women who are helping women find their bliss. And so I hope you'll check those out. I hope that you'll share this video, and I hope that you will always listen to your soul's call. So thank you so much for watching this video. Take care. Bye for now.